Good morning. Happy Black History Month. I hope everyone is well in this interesting time. Welcome everybody to Creative Morning. If this is your first time, hit us with the number one in the chat. If you're drinking some coffee, like myself, um, we want to thank our sponsors. Shout out to Hodgepodge Coffee at 72 Moreland. If you haven't gotten there already, until 12 p.m. today, you get a free cup of coffee and a pastry on us. So it's a little rainy, a nice cup of coffee, and a nice, they have this cinnamon roll thing at Hodgepodge. I would suggest go get that. All right, some housekeeping. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to share a few Zoom tips to help you experience run smoothly. So first, click the participants menu again, click on more next to your name, and you can rename. You can add an emoji, and then you can save it. So different views on Zoom. You have speaker view, you have gallery view. So if you want to see all of us together, you can watch it from the gallery. If you just want to see me and our cool guests, you can watch it as a speaker view. After our talk, there will be a live Q&A session with Ash. Let's practice how we do that. Click on the reaction button on the panel below. Then select raise your hand. If we call on you, we'll unmute your mic for your questions, and we remind you once we get close to the portion of the event. So stay tuned for our Q&A at the end. Now, about Creative Morning, if this is your first time. Creative Morning is a free lecture series that happens once a month. There are over 200 chapters around the world full of creative people just like you and me. Creative Morning isn't just happening in Atlanta, it's happening in cities all over the world on the same theme. We're also run by the generosity of our volunteers. Shout out to our home team, ATL, that makes this event, our social media team, newsletter, and our field trips happen. You are all awesome. This month's theme, monumental. If you live here in Atlanta, everything about Atlanta is monumental. But today's theme, when we call something monumental, we mean it's the matter of scale. Societies erect statues and build squares and dedicate memorials to prevent the past from being buried. Well, what will you bear witness to? What will you leave behind when you're gone? Like, so and the good thing about Monumental is that Atlanta, we can walk down the street on Auburn Avenue and see the past and see how the past is intersecting with the future. So that's an everyday thing here in the great city of Atlanta. Creative Morning wouldn't be possible without the generosity of our global and local partners, MailChimp. Thank you, MailChimp, Creative Morning's official global partner for marketing. Last year, MailChimp reached out to freelancers and independent agencies to learn about the nuts and bolts of their businesses, what they learned, how they price their services, how to acquire new clients, how to staff their projects, and lots more. These learnings helped them create the 2021 MailChimp and Co. benchmark report, an invaluable resource for understanding how marketing pros stack up against their peers and revealing the top performers do differently. We will put a link to the benchmark report. Now, we have some goodies for you today. So we are excited to welcome Peabody Award-winning poet, musician, MC, Abyss as our featured performing artist for today's event. Abyss is a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award winner by Biden and Harris and was named Who of Black Atlanta Creative Loafing Spoken Word Artist of the Year in 2013. And the first poet on 106 and Park, AJ and Free. If he was like me in middle school, I probably saw him when I got home after school to watch 106 and Park. He is also the only poet on the Immortal Prince album and appeared on HBO Deaf Poetry in the second season of BET J Lyrics Cafe. Please welcome Abyss.
How you doing, Creative Mornings? Good to see you guys. I'm glad to be here, blessed to be here. I have it on speaker view, but my name is Abyss, and I look forward to performing for you guys, and I'm about to give y'all that business. But since we're speaking on monumental today, and hold on, can I just show my video? Gallery view, there it is. So I'm going to spit some spoken word, but being monumental, half of my life has been dedicated to spoken word. I know you guys heard the accolades and everything, but more importantly, I've been a fixture in this scene. And if you heard about me, I don't have sponsorship. It's only because we choose not to be quiet. So the monumental, we must be monumental over instrumentals. So I'm going to spit some bars for you guys. Thumbs up, you can hear me right there? You hear me okay? All right, so check it out. I like to make movement music, so I am an artivist. So I use my art as activism. Whoa! Whoa! What's that in the air? Gunpowder. It's like they really don't care about us. It's like the powers that be done lost their grip, and you're not above the law. Karma wants a kiss. Break out the riot gear, they pumping a black fist. They don't woke a sleeping giant, they mad at it. Hey, what's that in the air? Gunpowder. It's like they really don't care about us. They kill our sons before they get a chance to shine. Kill our dreams so we can't expand our minds. Taught me out English, pulling on a Newport. It used to be sky's the limit, now life's too short. Most of this is self-inflicted excuses. Piss poor, addicted to this chicken. Whoa, wish I ate fish more. What's that in the air? Gunpowder. It's like they really don't care about us. Whoa, that's a call and response. Hey, whoa, I hear y'all out there in virtual land. So check it out. I was born on the east side, city of motors. We grinding so hard, yes, we gon' need rotors. Old head said, don't do that stuff that they showed us. We could walk like giants on the tops of their shoulders. School of hard knock, where they bought it in boulders. And they gotta pack heat, cause where we stay at colder. Hey, some work a 9 to 5, I work my 16s. You got to be nice when your flow is mean. I took the minimum, and I went extreme. These are Malcolm X games by any means. And chasing your vision, mean pushing your dream. They call it underground, we seeing it mainstream. Had a premonition, they labeled it pipe dream. So I gave them my light, sun rays, the moonbeam. That's day and night, we moving like light beams. If you're not enlightened, it turn into sightseeing. Just a dose of the Kendrick tapped into my inner Hendrix. I'm just a messenger, it's only right I send it. What's that in the air? Gunpowder. It's like they really don't care about us. Whoa, I hear y'all. Whoa, what happens when you can't breathe and the long arm trying to put you to sleep and they won't stop till you're 6 feet deep? Control yourself before it's better in the streets now. The revolution is coming. The revolution is here. The revolution is coming. The revolution is here. Whoa. Whoa. That's that piece, Gunpowder, right there, guys. And I wrote that after watching so much of the injustices going on. But we had to be monumental in our movement because sometimes no one is listening to you when you are the voice of reason. So what we had to do is we had to do it creatively. We had to make it like hieroglyphics. Sometimes people call us the weirdos, the weird ones. I'd rather be weird in myself than to be somebody familiar and not being myself. So I want to get into this next piece, and I appreciate that. If y'all like what y'all hearing, by all means, at Team Abyss. But I will also want to do, another piece called Exodus. And I'm definitely a student of the game. I've been here, like I said, a while. I guess people calling it legendary icon. I call it a blessing. And God has placed me, in a good position. I didn't always know that it would flourish into this. So with that being said, I want to play a little live track. So check it. We need to move, Exodus. Keep pushing for the rest of us. We hitchhiking like having a bus, and it's passion I trust until it's ashes and dust. We in the wind like Gus, we in the wind like Gus, and we gone, hey, and we out of here. They want us to sell our souls to barter a profit, like God's property is hard to market. So we steady the aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got drive, they rather you park it. But I don't valet. You ain't getting these keys. And I'm keeping closed hands. I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection dealing with 8 sections. The art mixed with life. You can feel the convection. You can see the conviction on any selection. Superb diction. Bending guitars, the weapon between a rock and a hard. I'm living on Baltic. I'm trying to get the park place flowing like faucet. Hustle hard. Boulevard, where I come from. Some get lumped for the lump sum and then some. Conundrum, vicious cycle. From son, I'm built to win ever since I was a young one. Mama had the pom-poms, I was young and restless. Left the drama for the dum-dums. Count my blessings, peep lesson. A mariachi with the metaphor. My hustle slept in. Most high the guarantor. Move! Exodus, hey, keep pushing for the rest of us. Hitchhiking like having a bus, and this passion I trust until it's ashes and dust. We in the wind like Gus, we in the wind like Gus, and we gone. Yeah, y'all with that, hey, and we out of here. Bars. Black angel wings, heartstrings, praying hands. I'm a fire game of spade. I play my hand without a grain of sand. We bagging what we book. I'm taking back what was took. I bought the underground, the sea level. Now we make them look. Watch the recipe cook. Yes, I snap when I chat. That's why the face get booked. Underground railroad coming up out this hellhole. Roses from the pros until the bell toll. No semicolon flows with these half. Hey, niggas with masks on. Let's see how long that lasts, bro. It feels like I'm in a Toy Story. It has, bro. And it's hard not to yell when the barrel's your mouth. I'm actually dark skinned. This my aura showing out. I'm chasing my dream. My hustle predate your clout. I'm pro with my now. My verb, we work it out. I was raised in the north and grew up down south. And I ran with 5 guys that'll cook that cow. I'm talking mushroom cloud. You thinking click, click, pow. No, we mushrooms, partner. We move crowds. Move! Hey! Exodus! Keep pushing for the rest of us. We hitchhiking like having a bus. And it's passion I trust until it's ashes and dust. We in the wind like Gus. We in the wind like Gus. And we gone. Hey. And we out of here. Y'all like that? Today I'm student, tomorrow I'm teacher. Be at the sidelines, the end zone, skybox, bleachers. Something has to change because the anger can't feed us. Y'all know what happens mixing lions and cheaters? Woo! It get to cracking like a skillet of fajitas. Somebody leaving salty like a rim of margarita. Damn, sound like a happy hour up at Applebee's. These are neighborhood bars, pardon me. I'm from a place, oh yes, they call it Detroit. I'm authentic, you can tell me from them decoys. The shirts, the skins, crack fiends, D-boy. They call me public enemy. Yes, I bring noise. Move! Exodus! Keep pushing for the rest of us. Hitchhiking like having a bus. And it's passion I trust until it's ashes and dust. We in the wind like Gus. We in the wind like, hey, Gus. And we gone, hey, hey. And we out of here. We out of here. We gone. Hey, spit a verse and change your life. That's my time, y'all. So check it out. I have a movie coming out really soon called the Spring and Third. It's the story of the Yin Yang Cafe. It's going to be on Tubi. We just signed a deal with Dame Dash, so it's going to get distribution. But it's about a spot where we used to go and be creative at in the 90s. And it's a very good story. I would say check it out. Spring and Third, Spring and Third, Spring and Third. Thank y'all for listening to me.
Yes, thank you, Abyss. Everybody, virtual applause, virtual applause. All right, you can follow Abyss on Instagram at Team Abyss, and we'll leave that in the chat for you to follow him.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ah, sometimes you just need some good flow to start your day. All right. All right. So next month's event, our theme for March is folklore, and our presenter will be Moksha Ra. Are you in the mood for Muras? Dancer, designer, Moksha Ra will be leading an interactive presentation introducing you to mudras, hand gestures used in classical Indian dance. She will focus on the dance form Bharuta Natyam, as well as explain her unique performance style, discuss her Inktober illustration series, also known as Moondross, and end with a fun workshop where you will learn some Moondross yourself. Save the date. See you Thursday, March 31st at 7 p.m. We'll also put the link in the chat. Now, our speaker this month is Ash Nash. Ash Nash is a grassroots organizer, Black art and community activist, and consultant. Her vision, leadership, and social economic strategies irrefutably ensure space for Black creators to genuinely express themselves, to access and sustainable careers. Her work combines storytelling of observation and experience in regards to economic and systematic injustices against Black culture. Notably, Nash Works has reinforced the vital urgency to invest and enhance in Black creative careers. She was the conceptualist and general for the Capper Bowl movement, Atlanta organizer for Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights camp, executive producer for the Art of Protest film on Rolling Stone with director Colin Day, Dave Navarro, and Inline Global Arts Activist Collective. Her organizing work and citywide public art activations have been internationally recognized in the BBC UK, Rolling Stone magazine, Museum of Design Arts, Orange Barrel Media, Downtown Atlanta Art and Entertainment, and the Atlanta Beltline. Most recently, she was the co-creator for the 2022 61 citywide digital art exhibition for the inauguration of Atlanta's Mayor Andre Dickens. Lastly, Ash was an adjunct professor for Emory University's 2020 inaugural Art of Social Justice cohort, teaching film, media, and the art of social change to over 20 students around 5 continents. She's also serves as the Atlanta Community Executive Board member of the African Diasporic Art Museum of Atlanta, Mint Gallery, located in Southwest Atlanta, and on the Atlanta Task Force for Philanthropic Reparations, which feeds her passion of challenging and advising executive leaderships to take accountability in overall infrastructures that oppress Black creators. Wow, such an amazing, amazing bio. Welcome to the Creative Morning Stage, Ashna.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. I appreciate that. Um, my name is Ash for those in the audience, but I appreciate it, Adia. And I just want to thank Amina Owen, the curator for Creative Mornings, and the entire Creative Mornings team for being intentional and doing such a wonderful job with this platform. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just share some of my work because I'm a visual person. So, in order for you to truly understand what I do, I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm going to let you see some visuals before I get into our talk. If you just hold one moment.
An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true of painters, sculptors.
Can you all see that?
An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true of painters, sculptors, poets, musicians. As far as I'm concerned, it's their choice. But I choose to reflect the situations in which we find ourselves.
So just a message there from the iconic Nina Simone. And here's some of our projects.
An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true. Sculptors, musicians. I the situation.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hopefully, you guys were all able to get the gist of some of our public artwork and the projects that we've installed throughout the city. So I want to start by saying Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings to you all. When I sit with this word, monumental, that's the subject for this month. I think of what a powerful word it is. I'm deeply humbled to be mentioned in association with such a word. And, it's a quality that we're constantly aiming for. However, I've come to realize that history and biology has constantly proven that nothing moves without power. So with that, I'm compelled to reflect on the social justice movements of those whose work I often study and am roused by. Those who were always in the forefront of and never wavered on issues of social justice. Nina Simone, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Mayor Maynard Jackson, David Driscoll, and even Eva Davis of East Lake Meadows. Activists whose love for human rights and appreciation of the arts and use of language endeared people to pay attention and inspired movements, some of which still exist today. Human rights organizations, social movements, artistic and political movements that seek to embody those same characteristics and qualities that the Powerhouse Creative Network utilizes. You can't tell me that race isn't still a monumental factor when today Black Americans are still seen as 3/5 or less than a whole human. Seen as, not are. If that were the case, the average Black family wouldn't need 228 years to close the wealth gap and reach the generational wealth of a white family. Now you pair that with an industry like the arts, which is already seen as an afterthought, you start to experience double layers of disadvantages. And then going also into the gender disadvantages. So this is why we unapologetically practice Black group economics. From public art projects to multiple fine art acquisitions, we appreciate having partnerships that can help us build an ironclad firewall to practicing Black group economics. The same ways in which other cultures have built financial freedom and generational wealth, we are doing for our very own, with every brick thrown at us in a system intentionally designed for Black people to fail. There are no to-go plates to Black culture within Powerhouse Creative. And while many others are comfortable exporting out of our community, we probably will not. So the core of our work is to use art as a vehicle to amalgamate multifaceted Black representations into a collective. The same way in which musicians are brought together with different instruments to create harmony, politicians working together to pass legislations and laws that govern society, and even athletes who bring together the right chemistry of players to produce championships. My job is to facilitate similar results for my community. So with that said, art influences society by changing opinions, instilling values, translating experiences across space and time. Research has even shown that art affects the fundamental sense of self. Painting, sculptures, music, literature, and other arts are even considered to be the repository of a society's collective memory. In order to restore the health of a society, we have to have a revanchist approach to advocating and fighting for the recovery of lost territory and to restore the lives of those who have been damaged the most. Black people have always had their thoughts and ideas appropriated and have never gotten their dues, their just dues. You see it in social media, our intellectual property. You see it in communities where non-Black artists are hired to come into predominantly Black communities and create Black imagery. That's a cultural and economic offense that we have to stop. So within my capacity, within my work, that's what I set out to do every day. In recent years, I've come to identify a major trigger, one that my curiosity has not allowed me to accept. And that's that's just the way it is mentality. It's this mindset, this automatic reply that I hear from time to time while doing community work. So to say that in all the years of our history is to accept that radical leadership, radical ideas have never produced change. And that's something I refuse to accept. I believe it's our civic duty that we, the taxpaying people of this society, must fight the feelings of jadedness and never allow the work of those who have paved the way to go in vain. And, doing this work is by no means easy, but yet it is necessary as well as fulfilling. One of the problems we face being brought up in a society is to think and behave like individuals. It's the common pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, or the common phrase of pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, however, is a dangerous myth. Nothing in life is ever done on your own. And there's an African word, Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. And that's how we operate within our collective. We can't move forward without each other. So nothing is ever done on your own. We're all in need of each other. And there's also the saying that straight roads don't produce skillful drivers. And like many others, I have certainly experienced rough terrain, from managing artists to often being the only Black woman at executive roundtables where there's predominantly white men in suits or white women in leadership. So to give an example of some of those challenges, and a monumental movement of my own would be, if you're familiar with the Kaepernick Capper Bowl. Capper Bowl, from organizing Capper Bowl, in which the imagery of a Colin Kaepernick mural was not only taken down, but the building was destroyed. And we organized across the city of Atlanta to put up multiple Colin Kaepernick murals, and the city came out in droves. And it was a very humbling experience. But there were challenges. And to have conceptualized that and been the lead organizer for it, and a woman, which in the spirit of the civil rights movement, you know, Black women were the ghost writers for the civil rights movement. And it's something we don't often hear about. But in its challenges, so much good has come from it. I now work with Colin Kaepernick and the Know Your Rights Camp, and have gone off to do other things, as well as being an executive producer for the Art of Protest documentary, which we work with In Decline, who is a global arts collective where Emory Douglas of the Black Panthers, Shepard Fairey, art activists from around the world are coming together for the greater good and human rights issues. And that's one of the beautiful things that's come from that movement. Give me 1 second. So I'd also like to share some other monumental things. I've had the opportunity in 2020 to be selected as one of 4 firms in the redevelopment of Woodruff Park. And while we didn't end up getting that project, I have to remind myself that with all the challenges I face as a Black woman business owner, as an organizer, trying to insert the images of my people for my people to be seen, that was no small feat. And if I can share my screen, I would like to go ahead and show you guys that. If it'll let me. Okay. I don't know if you guys can all see this here. Yes, but here was that project. And again, you know, in order to create change, you got to at least step in the arena. And that was something we were able to do. I partnered with DTJ Design Company, and we had 9 artists on that project. And so, you know, while that may not have gone through, I would like to share something that did. I was the first external arts and culture creative strategist for the Atlanta Beltline in 2020. And I had an idea. One of the idea was to, you know, I want to see more sculptures throughout this city. And I paired together 2 absolutely brilliant and phenomenal artists, Grace Kisa and Alex Fovani, who ended up being selected for this all-in-one sculpture that's now placed on the Beltline. If you think about driving through this city, how many sculptures, how many monuments do you see that are designed, conceptualized and designed by Black creators? And so this one brings a lot of pride because it's by Black women for a predominantly Black neighborhood, and it's placed in a predominantly Black neighborhood. I'm gonna stop that there. Oop, are we? Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an example of the fight, the challenges that we face every day in trying to be seen in a country that was built on the back of Black folks. And still, we're fighting to be seen, to be heard by any means necessary. Uh, Everyone plays a role in this work. And, we hope to continue to do this work, but we can't do it without community partners who are not intentional with their role. I often say that there's folks who can either ride the clock from their 9 to 5 or just doing their job, or you can revolutionize whatever your role is. So everyone that's on this platform can revolutionize their role. You know the challenges. We have over 400 years of data and research and living proof. So when you go into your job, when you go about your business, think about the ways that not just checking your diversity and inclusion boxes, being intentional with your executive leadership and making sure that people of color, that Black people are at that table, that grassroots leaders who are connected to the community are at those tables. That's how we're going to get monumental change and see more things that reflect us as a whole. Thank you all, and I appreciate your time.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So we are going to ask our audience for a few questions. But before we ask, I have a question that I would like to ask. So people always say that Atlanta is a unicorn because of the high percentage of Black people that stay in Atlanta. So how do you help cities that are trying, whose population may not be 50 or 49% Black, and only have a 12% population, and they have to fight for certain arts and to get their work out? What would you suggest to those emerging cities who don't have a voice like Atlanta has?
It comes from the top down. You can start as small or as large as you want to, but if your executive leadership does not reflect the demographic of those communities, you're missing the mark. You're missing the mark. And so that's how we start, whether you're in a town, whether you're in, just an office, it doesn't matter. It's as long as your leadership reflects the demographic of the neighborhood of even where you're placed. That's how ideas trickle from the top down. It doesn't come from the bottom up. Again, nothing moves without power. So it has to come from the top down.
All right. So we have one question from Tracy. What specific projects are you working on now?
Hello, Tracy. It's Tracy Morrell. She's a phenomenal artist that's there in the chat. Good to hear from you. Right now, there's a few things locally, we have Ain't Nothing Minor About Us. So this project is backed by the Downtown Atlanta Arts and Entertainment District. We will be installing a mural at a locally owned Black business. And this project is denouncing the violence in the language minority. There's nothing about us. And the psychological effects that has on us when you label people as minors. We're going to be addressing that. I even think about in business, people tell me, oh, well, you're Black and you're a woman, you're a double minority, you should have a shot. That does not make me feel good. And so this project will be addressing that. And globally, we have the Art of Protest. We've set the documentary out, that was 2020, and now we're actually bringing that back to the table. We're going to be working with some phenomenal artists from around the world and addressing issues like philanthropic abuse and, how nonprofit nonprofit organizations are actually making more money off of doing one-offs with Black creators and Black organizations than those actual Black people themselves. So we're cutting out the middleman and we're taking our pen back, telling our stories for our own.
Nice. So, okay, we have something from Heather Infantry. Who are the upcoming artists we should be paying closer attention to?
Hello, Heather. Thank you for being here today. Well, Tracy Morrell actually is one of them. She's a phenomenal artist. Dr. Fahamu, Charlie Palmer, D.L. Warfield. There's so many artists I could go on. But locally, Atlanta is definitely stepping in the arena to be recognized in the fine arts world, because truth be told, Atlanta hasn't had a strong collectors base. And that's why we're not able to really hold a leg in the Art Basels and things like that of the world. And it's important that we have leaders in the arts that are trained professionals to help us get there.
Nice. Okay. And then one more question. What words of encouragement would you offer to keep going when up against a challenge?
For me, I love a challenge because you are you've designed something that you've wanted to keep me out. And who are you to control my when I see challenges like that? It's my mindset is, who are you to have a say in my livelihood, in my day-to-day, and how much I should be paid and how I should be recognized. What some people may not know is I'm a mother of 20 and 16-year-old daughters. And so when someone is challenging me, that means you're not just challenging my work, you're challenging my livelihood and my daughters and my community. So I would say, you got to take it one day at a time. And because what else are you going to do? What else is there to do but fix things? So, yeah.
All right. Oh, wait, we have more coming in. All right. I think this is for Abyss. Abyss, can you tell us more about your upcoming film?
Yes, it should be around the 1st of March, released on Tubi. And it will be, Tubi is an app, what have you, but with ads. But you'll see basically what we were doing in the 90s. We paid close attention to what was going on as far as Atlanta, fresh off the Olympics, gaining the Olympics, and then watching Black music come to Atlanta. India Ari got her start there. Bone Crusher, he was a chef there. Bone Crusher was, but there's so many stories, and I was a part of that. Although I'm not in the film, I identified with everybody that we interviewed, and it was almost like the story told itself. So I'm just blessed to be here in a movement, and I was able to be a griot and actually be able to tell the story and be put in a position. So Spring and Third, with the ampersand, it's on IG. You can follow us, but definitely follow me, and I will get that info to you.
Okay, we have a good question. I think both you and Ash can answer. How can you establish creative institutions in Atlanta better support correcting the imbalance of economic opportunities for local Black artists and protecting our culture? This is from Nicole.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. It's important. A lot of people fail to recognize the impact of the pandemic, right? So prior to the pandemic, organizations were dishing out small budgets, things like that for the arts. It's an afterthought, right? But the pandemic forced us to sit still And then we also had the civil unrest of all of the killings, the murders by white police against black people, and people were upset. And then we also had an election during that time. It was the artists, and I want to say it was the provocative, cultural creation of what the Black arts community here in Atlanta did for those advertisements, because they leaned on politicians and then leaned on artists to get their message across, because again, we couldn't move anywhere. It was artists that then unlocked and had the power to change the state, which had an impact on this whole nation. So we have to be intentional about how the arts are seen as less of an afterthought. They need to be part of the strategic planning on the forefront. And we also have to hire local creators to create our messages instead of, all these big companies coming in and hiring Fortune 500 companies. No, we have a whole local arts economy that has been overlooked and underserved. And that is by design. So everyone that's on this platform has to speak out. If you're at those tables with the developers or someone's coming in town and there's big projects, you need to make sure that a local creator is hired for that.
And even as a spoken word community, we are almost considered the mecca of spoken word here. We've been here for years. And like I said, the only reason why you know about this is I don't have sponsorship. It's because I refuse to be quiet. And sometimes they try to sweep us under the rug. I've been here for 24 years. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here till they put flowers on me, and I'm making sure that I'm sprinkling, and I'm an analog that can kick it with the digitals. I don't just look at the youth like I'm the meniscus between the elders and the youth. So I have to be here to be a joint and basically prove a point sometimes, because we think we can't get along with the youth. Sometimes they don't relate to the elders. So somebody has to be the bigger person here and pull both of these sides together so we can galvanize. So, and that's what we do through spoken word. And it's like hieroglyphics sometimes, whether you want to accept it, music soothes the savage beast in them. So what we're able to do is input information and let it marinate, and you'll deal with it later. And we're just thankful to have that blessing and that calling. So I appreciate you, and definitely be on a panel such as this one. And I'm appreciative of all the work.
Beautiful. I love it. Where spoken word and art align. I think that's this is we put this one together greatly. So we're gonna have a question from Courtney, and both of you again can ask, what other cities do you see yourself making monumental projects with?
I've actually been working. There's 2 other cities that are still, we're building a pipeline. And those things, of course, take time, especially when you have, limited resources. But Miami and Ohio are current cities that we've been chipping away at this pipeline for some time.
I'm fresh off the Carolinas. I've been going here for years, and just establishing a connection with these guys, make it wholeheartedly, with Atlanta right here. Greenville is coming up really, really nice. I don't know if you guys had a chance to visit. It's a good day trip, but we're just galvanizing. Basically, we don't want to call it the Chitlin Circuit anymore, but we've been doing it for a minute. So like it's cool to just recognize the new faces, because after COVID shut everything down, it was almost like a changing of guard. So if you were in position, people stepped into those positions. So, and a lot of us, if you were really doing it, you're still doing it right now. You just have to do it creatively.
Nice. I think for those who don't know what the Chitlin Circuit is, can you explain that?
Well, basically we're off the beaten path. So, I can look at the map of the United States. I've been traveling so long. I can look at those states and I know the numbers and the people to call. I can call off the road and just get a trip, and I've been able to do that without commercial, basically commercial promotion. I know people. I've been treating people well, so it's almost like I move like Harriet Tubman. So you can move like a Kennedy in the sense of the metaphor of moving through the community where some people can't get access. I've done people right. I've treated people right. My intention, like she said, be intentional. That has been my mantra from right on, not like now. Even though I might be a seasoned artist, I'm 52, but I feel like I just got my wings and I'm starting to fly. So I'm just thankful, and I got my second win, and we're still doing the work. It's muscle memory
So
at
we're
this
gonna
point.
have, I love it. So we're gonna have one. We're gonna close it out. A question by William Massey. Your work is unquestionably valuable, yet the need for it is seemingly never ending. What are your practices to replenish and take care of yourself? Great question, William.
Thank you for that question, William. I have to say, I wake up Black in America first before I step into any role. But since reverting to Islam, I wake up as a Muslim woman first before I'm a Black woman, before I'm a mother, before I'm any role or hat that I may put on to get through that day. I've doubled down, through these monumental challenges on boundaries and capacity, and holding my partners accountable. When in 2020, when I believe it was Rayshard Brooks who was murdered, one of our partners had asked, hey, Ash, we need this from you. We need that from you. I can't produce right now. I'm Black. This is affecting me differently. And you tell them that. And if they're uncomfortable, then that's not who you need to be working with. Because if you can turn a blind eye to what's happening in this country, that's not who you need to be working with. So I definitely set boundaries. I make sure, I have time. Family time is extremely important to me. I love cooking. I love cooking. I love cooking. Feeding my family, the ways in which I feed my community. So I make sure that I have time for that. And also, if I need to react, then I allow myself to react, because it's maddening sometimes being Black in this country. So you can get it both ways.
Abyss, do you want to say anything? Oh, you're on mute.
Mic check.
Okay.
I would
Yeah,
have to
we
say
can hear you now.
that. Okay. I would have to say aligning with getting the diet right, because it's an inside job first before. So I've been, practicing. I've been at Wadata, not shameless plug, but I've been getting my boss moss on. But I've been taking care of myself, and I've just been moving, trying to defy the odds. Try to make time turn back for us, because now we're in that season where everything is easy to move. It feels like Neo in the Matrix when he sees the numbers. Now we can see the numbers, but we've lived a lot of life. And now it's like she said, you have to go back to family. You have to get a good core. My circle is small, so we can make bigger strides. And a lot of time, we just try to block out the noise, because it's hard to get quiet in these days. Because I come from a time where I was born in the 70s, so the TV was not always on. So it's not always these electronic frequencies to stop me from really getting some healing and some spiritual grounding. And that's what I think we all missing. And it's a simple thing, but although it's hard to do. So I stay grounded. Hey, believe in the claps, you believe in the boos. I do it because Most High allows me to do it. So that's what we do. We this is the change that I'm looking for, because you can't write a check for this. It's a feeling. It's something. It's the spirit, and it's that thing that it can't be duplicated, but it's so wonderful to experience. Definitely. So I'm just thankful. Stay grounded. Stay humble. because you never know. You got to help somebody, and you have to be a servant to be a great leader.
Well, beautiful. What a way to end our February monumental theme. We want to thank Abyss and Ash so much
Thank
for joining us. If you'd like to get more information about Ash, excuse me, follow her on Instagram at Powerhouse Creative, as well as Abyss at Team Abyss. So thank you all for joining the live stream today. We'll see you next month and have a great and safe weekend.